Alright, hi everybody, it's Bonkai922, here to bring you Crime Edge. The Severing Crime Edge. First half of this episode was unbelievable. Like, seriously, I'm a little upset. Tell you in a minute. I'll tell you in a minute. Let me just make sure I get the names right about who's who and what's what. God, I'm trying to look for names. Yeah. Okay. My man, Seigi, Nakajima. Fortunately, man. Hey, all I can say is this. He went out like a boss. Okay, let's get into it, okay? This one, what's this one called? This one, I believe, was called Lyrical Fright Night? No, Lyrical Night Fright. Yeah, Lyrical Night Fright. Now, last week they had the duel, they had the fight. It was a play. It seemed like Kiri was gonna die. I was like, damn. Actually, right before he was gonna finish him off, Seiji got attacked by somebody. Someone shot him in the leg. And you in the beginning of this episode, you see like someone is on the balcony. You see somebody there. You don't know who they are. Remember what I told you guys, the blonde girl. The girl with the blonde hair. You knew something was up. Well, surprisingly enough, yes it was! Something was up! We finally find out in this episode who that person is. But not before something happens to Seiji. I'm like, yo, man, I'm upset. Because that guy was great. And he kind of got it in this episode. So, alright. So basically, Kiri is down. And the curtains fall down after he gets shot. And just to come back and find the person that judged him. But he can't because the lights go out and shit. Curtain comes down. The key falls out of his pocket. And Iwai's freaking out. She's like, Kiri, good. She's trying to push him, and he's alive. Miraculously. He's alive. And then Seiji starts dragging his ass, because he's bleeding from the leg. And this woman shows up. The blonde hair girl. And that's when she introduces herself, and we find out who she is. Surprisingly, she's the leader of Gossip. We also find out that, later on, Gossip observes authors. So yeah, that was the whole bit there. And her name is the Purple Witchy? Yeah. Purple Witchy. I'm like, well, that's some name. No, Violet Witchy. My bad. Violet Witchy. And she's the leader of Gossip. Her entire family has been, forefront of the organization since its inception, more or less. And she has like a group of authors, give or take, and he was going up at her and saying, like, how he wanted to do what he wanted to do. And she told him you couldn't do that. And he did it anyway. So, these guys show up right behind him and grab him, and they pour this, I don't know what it was, it must have been poison, down his throat, and he swallowed it, and he was, like, coughing up blood, and I was like, yo, my man's getting old. I'm like, no! And then, he gets skewered. When I mean skewered, I really mean skewered. they can't even say that. Just like speared the fuck. There must have been, what, 10, 20 knives thrown at him? And he went right at him. I was like, oh my god. He just got, but listen, hey, he went out like a boss. Even though it was like, daggers and shit, he went out like a boss. He just stood there, took it, like a man. After that scene, we have a thing with Kiri is able to get himself back together. He wasn't killed. Couldn't finish him off because of this gunshot, probably. So he goes, finds Seiji, and is confronting him on his deathbed, his final moments before he's dead for good. And pretty much what happens is he bites the dust, and he's like looking at Iwai, and he's like saying Kiri, and he's like saying, "Oh, you should be jumping up and down for joy that I'm dead, and I'm about to die." I was like, "Yo, fucking awesome." And this is his final moments, and he warns him about Violet witching, and then she shows up again to confront Kiri. And she's like talking to him about the play and what it means with the queen and everything, and how the queen would kill all these women who look like, she was a murderer. And he came into the defense and says, "Oh no, it's not the queen's fault, it's the witch's fault," which is she's pointing at her. He was like, she was being angry towards him. And then that's when, out of nowhere, Iwai shows up and stops her from doing something she's going to regret. And basically her focus on it is that, that it's not, she's saying that it's regrettable that because of these circumstances, the Queen of Hair and the authors are thrown into this game. And she tells them to enjoy the rest of their night if they can, and so on and so forth. And then she leaves. That whole scene was freaking insane. I mean, because you see the look on Iwai's face, and she said, "Oh, she's gone. She's totally out of it." Because of the whole situation, because she was really scared. She thought Kiri was going to die. Now, that was the first half. The first half was awesome. Holy shit. The second half, I'm still giving this a 4. But kind of got weird. Well, a little weird. The second half, basically, after that whole situation, the Murasaki sisters show up. They take Iwai and Kiri to their room. And the police show up. They call the police, the murder scene and everything. That police officer, the girl police officer, yeah, she's basically there, and she's talking to them and saying, questions about, what happened at the scene of the crime and all that stuff. And she told them. And it was kind of funny here because Kiri was actually asking her, "Are you sad? This should be hard for you because of the fact that she supposedly has feeling for Seiji." And she's laughing it off, and she treated him like a little brother and stuff. And she's crying, and it's an emotional scene, saying, "But now that's all over, isn't it?" And goes on from there. After that scene, it got, and, hey, this is to be expected. Listen, in the end, he likes her hair, so he was doing some things. Kiri was licking Iwai's hair. I was like, okay, where do I take this from? Because I was like, and then he was like on top of her. I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on here? And it got kind of crazy. He ended up only kissing her on the forehead, and then she's like telling him, "Don't ever die, you know, so we can kiss," and blah blah blah. And it was kind of a funny scene. So we had that. We also had the scene with Violet Witchy leaving the hotel, leaving, and we see the professor and everything, and it goes on from there. That's pretty much what more or less happened in this episode. Now, next episode. Now, here's the thing about this show. This is a good episode, and like I said, the whole weird thing with the licking of the hair, kissing her on the forehead, I'm like, holy shit, we're entering itchy and adult content here. But, nevertheless, good episode. Even though my man Seigi died, I was like, we went out like a boss. Like a boss. And he was like saying his last moments, he was saying, I'm gonna, die on my terms. They're not gonna, he was basically saying he's gonna go out like a boss. That was awesome. Now, I should let everyone know, next episode, I've read the manga for. Yeah, I have. I've read a little bit of it. This one will get intense, I assure you. This next episode we're going to go into, which is Standing Ovation, next week's episode, it's going to get pretty intense, the next couple of episodes. Now, this was episode 9. My guess is, for this show, I think it might end at 12. But I'm not sure. I don't know how they're going to pull this off. Because the manga's still going on, and I'm like, it's like, I'm wondering what they're going to do. They might continue it on with it. They may not. Who knows? So, yeah. This was a good episode. It's just, man, that licking of the hair. It was like, yo, what is this guy doing? He's got an hair fetish. Which is to be expected with this show. He does, Kiri, have a hair fetish over iwai. And, that's the story there. Before I end this review, and I don't want to go off too much topic here, but I want to mention something. I neglected to mention something about the banner contest. I have a second channel. So, what this means is that when it changes the banners, the layout, when it goes to this new layout, that's going to change too, the second channel, the Evil King of Anime Versus. So, anyone who watches this video, I have only this to say. Shiz GFX. You and to anyone else, if you can, Shiz GFX, I would say to redo a little bit. All I'm asking you to do for that file you sent me, the image of, King Bankai, with the 5 characters, I want you to change it from that to Bankai 922 King of Anime Versus. If you can, change that lettering in the file you gave me when you have a chance. Because I wanted you to do that so that I could put it on my Evil King of Anime Versus channel when it gets changed, and, that's that. So, yeah. Anyone else who wants to join that contest is free to till the end of the week. Anyway, that's all I got for you guys. For that, this is from Bankai 922. I'll see you guys later. Seiji died, but, man, out like a boss. He went out like a boss. So, it was sad to die, but I was like, yo, I'm like a boss. My nigga. He's daggers in his chest. I was like, yo, that's awesome. I'll see you guys later.